tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Happy Friday. It's Friday. Yeah. Don't go around thinking it's Sunday, because it's not. Morning, Amber. Morning, Michelle. Yeah. You're like, what's the delay? Where are you? You're late. You're late for a very important date. I want to show you why. I'll show you exactly why. Okay. So this is what I use in order to put things together. Like today, attraction, not promotion. Here's the description that I put in, right? And then it gives me some bullet points that I can kind of go through. It helps me out. Then it's supposed to create a thumbnail, and that thumbnail is it's not doing it, right? And it hasn't been for 4 days. I wait 20 minutes, nothing. And it's like, it's like, Dion, I hear you, and you're right to be frustrated, and it's just so laggy. All right. We can implement this starting your next time. No, I just want you to start working. That's all. So, yep, one of the things that I go through in order to get this done. There's a process to it. Oh, did I lock a kitty in here? Do you want out, dude? There you go. Get out. See ya. What, you guys want in? All right, I'll leave it open a little. Ooh. My wife's trying to wake up, so she got her sound going, and it's hard for me to focus. That, and I'm tired, so yeah. I was up for a few extra hours in the middle of the night with tummy issues. I was power puking ramen. All right. Second time it's happened. I think there might be something about ramen that I just am not allowed to have anymore. So, yep. Oh, I don't even feel like doing the daily funnies. Not because I'm in a bad mood or anything. I'm just tired. All right. Sponsy isn't feeling well, so he canceled. I think what I'm going to do is pull out my drums today. Start setting those up. Because I'm trying to think of something that I can do that's not recovery related. And I think what I'm going to do is, here's the thing. When I was 31, I bought my first drum set. Actually, I think I was 30. Dude, just don't. Fucking cat. He's just chewing on everything. So I bought something for me and the kids. But to talk about the other thing, I'm gonna take some drumming lessons, because when I started drumming, I went to the internet, figured out a 4-beat. We didn't have everything we have now. This was a long time ago. We still had dial up. I'll put it that way. Learned a 4-beat, taught myself some things, and I was headlining. But I watch a lot of other drummers. In 9 months, I was headlining at Herman's Hideaway, which is, back then, it was one of the bigger venues. And people are like, "Oh, that's really good. You must be good." No, isn't that I'm a good drummer. It's that the first time our band played, there was like 100, 120 really good-looking girls from DU spending a lot of money. I sold tickets. Our band sucked. That's how you do it. I went to the right places because DU is just down the street. Denver University is one of the most elite. There, if you go to DU, you got money. We'll put it that way. All right. At this, it's a marble set, marble run. I said I bought it for the grandkids, but just like I told my son and my wife, it's got to be tested first. So, yeah, I may be playing around with what marbles I have left today. Right. Michelle says, I remember dial up. I can hear that sound. Well, here we go. Here we go. I do a modem impression sound. But modems set off my stemming. Is what happens. me. $1.92 for gas at Sam's Club. Yep. Gas is getting cheaper. We are getting there. All right. AI Overview gave me the same jokes. So 145 best dad jokes that will have the whole family laughing. Should we put this to the test? I'm going to go down a little bit. All right. Let's do this. You know what time it is. It's 11:54. But for reals, it's time for Dion's Daily Funnies. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow? You follow the Fresh Prince. I remember it because now the theme song's going through my head, and that happened the other day. Right. So I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator all along. I'm getting better doing the laugh track at the right time. It's doing it again. I just did it again. When a bunch of little things happen and you're doing this, it gets frustrating, man. All right. Because you already have enough shit going on. So when something like that happens, it's a little distracting. Anyway, what did the ocean say to the beach? Nothing. It just waved. What do you call a factory that makes okay products? A satisfactory. I tried to use the other one, but it's okay. There we go. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies. It's actually a joke I knew. All right. We're going to be in the 12 by 12 today. Now that we are all done laughing at the jokes that will make the whole family laugh. They weren't bad today. Isaac's not with me, so the experiment isn't for the whole family. Oh, man. How can we have a daily trudge without Isaac? Fuck it, we're done. I ain't doing this without Isaac. Where's Isaac? You tell him I got all mad too. Tell him I got mad that he wasn't here. For a kid I hardly see, I've got a great relationship with him. Oh, I got to look at the right place here. 12 by 12, page 180. See, it's all the way back to the back. Well, that makes sense. Tradition 11. Sounded like a cat fight. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Oh, I got thrown off a little bit there. So, attraction, not promotion. This is the spiritual foundation of our principles. Right. And, let's do this real quick. Let's try this and see what we get. I'm always curious to see what we come up with and different viewpoints and stuff, because the more viewpoints we have, the more we're going to understand. And once your will is aligned with God's again, knowledge is power again. Right? Knowledge is power. You think I just know about AA? No, I know a lot of stuff. Hey, about recovery. That includes Celebrate Recovery. I use some of theirs. That's Smart Recovery. It's just CBT. Give me the definition of attraction, not promotion. It's probably gonna be like AA says, yeah.
Attraction, not promotion.
La 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 la. All right. Attraction means an organization lets its own success and values speak for themselves to draw new people rather than active selling or advertising to them. This is in contrast to promotion, which uses advertising and guarantees of improvement. Attraction is based on programs' inherent power and effectiveness, using personal testimonies and genuine connection to pull people in. Attraction, not promotion. Let me tell you what it's not also. And this has been happening. In the last month, I have received no less than 4 emails. It's been 4. 2 from central office, 2 from the GSO, asking for more money. No. And the fact that you're even asking for more money makes me not want to give you any money. I give a lot of my time, and now you're asking for money. Of course, they don't know the amount of time I put in. They don't care. See, asking for more money is more money for what? More money for what? What do we need it for? That's, and they won't answer anything. And I keep writing them back saying, this is, central office, we got the same thing. And our group made a vote and we gave them a couple $100. They were needing the money. It's the right thing to do. It's the way we're supposed to do it, But the email literally says, here, let's look at this. Watch. I'm just going to show it to you here real quick. Central office. No, that wasn't it. It was. Let's see if we can find that. Anyway, okay, it doesn't matter. The thing is right before it says that the central office's job is to create 12-step work. And then they go in, but the problem is they're not creating 12-step work. They're not doing that. I know. Because I'm out here trying to do it, and I'm not running into any other AA members. I'm trying, but I can't do it alone. Can't. We are an attraction, not promotion society. So the attractions, we focus on why. It emphasizes the inherent value and effectiveness of the program or service. It's passive outreach, promotion, focuses on the how. It uses advertisements and marketing to sell a program. Okay, now we can't do that. And if AA did put that out, there'd be a big uproar. But sending individual emails to individual members who signed up for the GSO to get some information, that is still promotion. That is exactly what promotion is. Taking the emails that you have collected and reaching out to these people personally and asking for money. AA doesn't sign up for Colorado Gives Day. All right. And when money mixes with spirituality, it goes to crap quickly. So, and Amber, I did get your message. Yeah, you and I should sit down and tear apart that plain English big book. Maybe we'll sit down and do that. So let's read a little bit of Tradition 11 here. Without its legions of well-wishers, AA could never have grown as it has. Throughout the world, immense and favorable publicity of every description has been the principal means of bringing alcoholics into our fellowship. In AA, offices, clubs, and homes, telephones ring constantly. One voice says, I read a piece of the newspaper. Another, we heard a radio program. And still another, we saw a movie picture. Or we saw something about AA on television. It's no exaggeration to say that half of AA's membership has been led to us through channels like these. And that is not any different. But it is not Alcoholics Anonymous that is putting these ads out. PBS used to do it a lot. PBS was one of our huge supporters back in the 90s. You would see AA stuff all over the place. It was not us. Those were our allies. People that believe in AA, or maybe the owner of a company was grateful to AA because they got it. They helped get his wife sober. So he's like, I'm going to put even this person can put a bench out ad. You know who can't do it? AA. We can't do it. And I do it the same way here. I do not spend any money to promote what I do. I do not. Well, let's see here. Is my website promoting? Not really. Is this promoting? Because it costs me money to do this. So I spend a little bit of money. So it does take a little bit, but it doesn't take a lot. No. I think 25 million in prudent reserve works. Yeah. The answer is not more money. That's not the answer. And I get a little frustrated because it is clearly outlined here. It is clearly outlined on how we're supposed to do this. Right? And it's not any different from, is anybody here willing to be a sponsor, or is anybody here need a sponsor? It's not any different from that concept. One is promoting, and we don't do that. What happened? Suddenly people are like, well, if they don't ask me to sponsor, well, they must not be willing. Who in the fuck are you to determine somebody else's willingness? Who the fuck are you? Did we do that to you? No, we did not. You came in floundering and we reached out and we helped you, but you can't do the same thing. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you right now what I kind of think that problem is. It is lack of faith. They have a fear. Well, I'm willing to sponsor, but nobody ever asked me. And they stand on that rock. It's promoting. Well, check me out. Check me out. What's going to be next? Sponsorship via the dating game. You remember that? You remember that? Or one lady sits over here and asks these three men questions, can't see them or anything else. And they ask them silly questions. All right. Is that how sponsorship's going to be next? Is it going to be a show for everybody to see? Because that's the way it's going. It is based, that right there is based upon popularity. It does not support recovery equity. And I will not raise my hand to say I'm willing to sponsor. I'm there. I've completed the steps. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I can use my intuition. I can use my brain. I have I have serenity and peace in my life. Okay. So what am I going to do? Raise my hand, say I'm willing to sponsor, and I hope that person over there asks me? What if they don't? What if they don't? Because you got that intuition. That person over there is supposed to be my sponsor. You get it. You that follow through on that. All right. I'm still a little pissed at AA for letting me flounder for 2 years. Nobody saying they would sponsor me or anything. They let me. They were watching me die right in front of their eyes, and they did nothing. Fuck. All right. All right. The inquiring voices are not all alcoholics or their families. Doctors read medical papers, Alcoholics Anonymous, and call for more information. Okay. That's why we have open meetings so that the general public, okay, so that the general public can see what AA is about. Most AA meetings are supposed to be closed. It's supposed to be about 80% closed meetings, 30% open meetings. Right? We did that, grassroots. Our regular meeting, Monday through Saturday, is a closed meeting. On Wednesdays, we do a hybrid meeting, which we made open to everyone so that people could discover what we could do, how we could help. And we do that at the Community Reach Center, where there's a variety of people. Attraction. Community Reach Center pays for that room. They pay the insurance. So we don't pass the basket. I'm going to make it as least invasive as I can. Yes, I am. And that's the announcement that we make. Okay. I know you're probably waiting on the basket. We don't do that here because everything's paid for. We don't need your money. We just want you here. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Because an alcoholic can detect bullshit from a mile away. And if you are getting paid to them, that is not altruistic, because it is not altruistic. That's why we pay somebody, a central office manager, to create service work for us. That is the money that we are spending, and they are not doing it. So how do we go about getting it turned down around the right way? It's a tough nut to crack. And if you don't have knowledge of the traditions, you're not going to come up with the answer. I keep asking about it. Now, what's next is I'm going to go to the GSR meeting. I will show up to the GSR meeting and say, where do we go with this? Well, and they'll probably say, we don't deal with central office stuff. You need to go over here. Okay. But is it? See, people are going to say, well, that's an outside issue. The fuck it is. We are paying somebody $70,000 a year, and all they're doing is sending out emails asking for more money. They're just trying to cover their own pay. Okay. They're missing the mark. They're way off. All right. Therefore, a great responsibility fell upon us to develop the best possible public relations policy for Alcoholics Anonymous. So, through many painful experiences, we think we have arrived at what that policy ought to be. It is the opposite of many ways of a usual promotional practice. We found that we had to rely on the principle of attraction rather than promotion. What is one of the biggest reasons for that? Humility. Humility. Yeah, that you don't need to be a super promoter. You don't, but it's hard to do that in this day and age because things are more about status than I've never seen status be such a huge thing in this world. And okay, your credit rating is going to be non-void soon. It'll be how popular you are will determine whether you can get a loan, whether you get this or that. Yep. That's what comes next. I gotta say, I'm glad I'm not gonna be here for that. I probably won't be around for that. It's gonna take another 20 years. But it's gonna happen. Even the penny's useless now. They quit making the penny years ago. Anyway, right. So we are an attraction, not promotion. We do not run around buttonholing people into our way. Okay. Now you're going to see it out there everywhere. I mean, I could probably go to Instagram and find one immediately. Of course, I'm saying that, and then that's not going to happen, right? But yeah, and a lot of these people that are trying to make money, they don't attend AA. Those people don't go to AA. In fact, secretly, a lot of people hate AA. the people that secretly hate AA want to go AA, but they can't because they're caught up in their popularity thing, and it's jealousy more than it is anything else. Right now, it's funny because people are like, well, those ideas are antiquated. It's been working for 90 years, and now all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. What is the number one trait of an alcoholic? Defiance. It's defiance. And without a higher power in your life, defiance will rule your world. You'll just be a defiant fuck. You don't need alcohol in you to be defiant. Yeah, I see defiancy all the time. Right? Hey, we're transparent. I'm a recovery coach and we're transparent and we meet people where they're at, but their picture has filters all over it. There we go. No humility. No humility. I don't use filters. I don't, the closest I get is letting Chat GPT write a description. Otherwise, this is about God doing the right thing. Right? I've been doing this 7.5 years. There's 2 people here. I know a lot of people that do what I do, they would be so unsaid. That would make them sad. But, the clips are being downloaded. I mean, people are catching on to what I'm doing. I'm not gonna pay and promote. So I don't even do hashtag FYP because I feel like that is promoting. I do some hashtags, but they're very specific. All right. Let's see how these 2 contrasting ideas, attraction and promotion, work out. A political party wishes to win an election, so it advertises the virtues of its leader to draw votes. A worthy charity wants to raise money. Forthwith, its letterhead shows the name of every distinguished person whose support can be obtained. Much of the political, economic, and religious life of the world is dependent upon publicized leadership. People who symbolize causes and ideas feel a deep human need. We of A do not question that. Okay? So the people that we were just talking about, the people that are promoting doing that, AA does not question that. No. But Dion, the recovered person in Northglenn, Colorado, can. Yes, I can. But okay, remember that a lot of what you see is probably none of your business. Pick your battles. All right. Make sure like before I was seeing people bashing on AA, and my reaction was a little angry. Let's call it. It was a little angry because I don't like people AA bashing. But I changed that recently to it sucks that they went through that. It sucks that they went through that. And I hate to say it, but shame on you, AA. And it's a whole. It isn't that group and that group and that group. We are a whole. And what they do over there affects us. Everybody thinks that autonomy means, it'll only affect us, right? Now, what was the other fallacy that we used to have when we were drinking? My drinking doesn't affect anybody but me. You remember that? Well, then why are we using the same concept in our groups? I call this the Abilene effect. Well, I don't call it the Abilene effect. It's called the Abilene effect. And it's where a group of people get together and make a decision, the wrong decision based upon popularity and not the need. Group consciousnesses are about the needs, not the wants. The wants belong outside. Now, that can change. If everybody in the group has the same intention that we want God's will, then we can get into wants. But until that happens, no. Then you'll get things like, yeah, can you guys invest in my 3/4 house? I ain't shitting you. Right? No, we won't. Okay. Is that something that did you know that an AA group can do that? But it'll affect the whole. So you can't do that. And a lot of groups are not doing that. They think they can just do whatever the fuck they want. Nope. There's the other fallacy. That you know what that is? That is alcoholic thinking, and it doesn't work. It didn't work during my drinking. It didn't work for me personally, and it's not going to work for the group either. No. Oh, let's list us over here and over there and over there so we can have tons of people and people can see how great we are and what we're doing. Nope. Grassroots, it grew naturally. It grew naturally. We're listed at DACA. That's the only place we're listed. So, hmm. So, all right, back to this. We of AA do not question that, but we do have to soberly face the fact that being in the public eye is hazardous, especially for us. By temperament, nearly every one of us has been an irrepressible promoter. And the prospect of society composed almost entirely of promoters was frightening. Considering this explosive factor, we knew we had to exercise self-restraint. So you're an alcoholic that's been trying to get everybody's attention for years. The alcoholics are like the little boy that cried wolf. We are. I don't know how many people I see with 3 years who's a fucking expert in this field now. It took me a long time. It took me a lot more than 3 years to figure out a lot of the stuff that and I can't even say that I figured it out. It was presented to me. My recovery is based off thousands of people that I have met who had what I wanted, so I stole it from them. That's what my recovery is. It didn't come from one person. I'm not that person. I need my own recovery, right? So the restraint, the way the restraint paid off was startling. It resulted more favorably publicity of Alcoholics Anonymous than could possibly be obtained through all arts and abilities of AA's best press agents. Whew. I should have taken a breath before I read that part. Obviously, AA had to be publicized somehow, so we resorted to the idea it would be far better to let our friends do this for us. Yep. We let other people, okay, doctors and lawyers and judges and a lot of places out there. Precisely that has happened. To an unbelievable extent, veteran newsmen, trained doubters that they are, have gone all out to carry AA's message. To them, we are something more than the source of good stories. On almost every news front, the men and women of the press have attached themselves to us as friends. Now, let's talk about the press. The press fucks with everybody, don't they? Yes, they do. Everybody but AA. They don't mess with AA. The consequences, if a news reporter blows somebody's anonymity, there's a good chance they're going to be fired. They're going to be reprimanded. It is a no-no. Why? Because we represent everything. You think there aren't news reporters in the program? Oh, there's a lot. Huh. Because it would blow their own anonymity too. See? Something's going on. Something's happening. All right. In the beginning, the press could not understand our refusal of all personal publicity. They were genuinely baffled by our insistence upon anonymity. Then they got the point. Here was something rare in the world, a society which said it wished to publicize its principles and its works, but not its individual members. The press was delighted with this attitude. Ever since, these friends have reported AA with an enthusiasm which most ardent members would find hard to match. Now it is switched. Now these alcoholics are trying to get through to these news reporters and stuff, and they're saying, no, you're not allowed to do it. You can't do that. You can't do it that way. Okay. You just don't see much news on the recovery front because who can they trust? Who can they trust? Reporters don't want to report on what's going on in the recovery community because they don't want to get in trouble themselves. Fear. They don't know where that line is. And thank you for that. We appreciate that. All right. So now it's the reporter saying, no, we won't do it. There was actually a time when the press of America thought anonymity of AA was better for us than some of our own members did. Well, of course. We want the attention. All your life, you've gotten nothing but bad attention, bad attention. Now I want my 15 minutes of fame. Well, you don't get your 15 minutes of fame in AA. That's not where that's going to happen. Now, if you want to go out and advocate and make the world a better place and do that, go for it, man. Go for it. Go do it. Okay? But don't cut down shit. Don't cut down other programs. Don't do that. Okay? Nowadays, it's kind of like politics, right? It's like you're required to make a commercial bashing your opponent. Yeah. Michelle's, even the movie stars admit sobriety, but not AA. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of them. Absolutely. They don't say that they're in AA, but you can tell by the way they speak. Well, I had to admit I was powerless over alcohol. I had to, and they don't say steps. They say I had to sit down and do step 4 because I can't remember another way to say it right now. I had to do a personal inventory. I had to admit where I was wrong. God's a big part of my life now. Yeah. Oh. If you go as far as say 12-step program, yeah, yeah, you're allowed to say that. I use that all the time, right? People usually know which one, but there's hundreds of 12-step programs. There's hundreds. Why? Because it works. Okay. Now, let's keep in mind those are spin-offs. The only one that was divinely inspired was AA. That's why a lot of the other 12-step groups don't necessarily look up to us, but they land in our groups first. Right? So at one point, about 100 of our society were breaking anonymity at the public level with perfectly good intent. See, there it is. With perfectly good intent. What's the problem here? They're not taking accountability. Any alcoholic without accountability is doing the wrong thing, even with the best of intentions. I don't care who you are. It is true. Period. All right. With perfectly good intent, these folks declared that the principle of anonymity was horse and buggy stuff, something appropriate to AA's pioneering days. I mean, AA had only been around a few years, so pioneering days, what the fuck are you talking about? You're still learning. The pioneering days ain't over. We're still learning. All right. They were sure that AA could go faster and farther if it availed itself to modern publicity methods. I would agree. But what does God have to say about it? What does God have to say on this one? Aha. Now, are we going to have faith in God that He is going to bring the right people to us? Or are we going to go out there and promote? I'd much rather have a better life and people be attracted to that. Right? I have people that walk the broad highway with me. I don't have followers. I have people that tune into what I do. But I don't have followers. No. I don't want followers. I want to walk arm in arm. I want you behind me. I want you up here with me. Yeah. AA, they pointed out, included many persons of local, national, or international fame. Okay. Then what's going to happen? Well, this person over here, because they're a news reporter, well, they're going to have more international fame. And then you're going to have a bunch of jealous people in AA. It's not going to work. Because what's our number one attribute? Defiance. Okay. It's got to be equal. It's got to be even for everyone, no matter your status, no matter your materialistic bullshit or whatever. I'm a functioning alcoholic. That that whole thing is just an oxymoron. And it's alcoholic thinking. All right. And it makes it even worse when a therapist or somebody else tells them, well, my therapist told, well, your therapist is wrong. Okay. Even in the DSM, they don't know. No. Go, fine. If you don't believe me, go to SAMHSA. Ask them. And they'll tell you, no, it doesn't exist. We like to make shit up. Yeah. Like I busted myself with something a couple weeks ago. I've been saying I had 12 years of sobriety and then I went out. No, it was 10 years of sobriety. See? Alcoholic thinking, making things bigger than they need to be so you can have more clout. Huh. Provided they were willing, and many were, why shouldn't their membership be publicized, thereby encouraging others to join us? Who in the fuck do you think you are? Is the question. This is just pride, ego, ego. No. These were plausible arguments. No, they are not. But happily, our friends of the writing profession disagreed with them. The foundation wrote letters to practically every news outlet in Northern America setting forth our public relations policy of attraction rather than promotion. So everybody was going, oh, well, I'll just go to a different state. So what did AA do? They were proactive and wrote everybody and said, this is how we do this. You may be smart, but you ain't smart of the whole of AA. All right, and emphasizing personal anonymity as AA's greatest protection. Since that time, editors and rewrite men have repeated deleted names and pictures of members from AA copy. Frequently, they have reminded ambitious individuals of AA's anonymity policy. They have even sacrificed good stories to this end. The force of their cooperation has certainly helped. Only a few AA members are left who deliberately break anonymity at the public level, right? Now, then you have the ones that kind of do the work and then they find out that they can't go out and do their shenanigans. So now they hate AA because of this, because they want their 15 minutes of fame. There's that defiance again. It's always defiance. And what is it? Well, they're not confronting their fears. I will ask the question again. Where's God in all of it? Yeah, see? Oh, out of Sam's. Lost this. Well, welcome back. Michelle says, I'm still trying to understand functional alcoholic. I think I use that description because I went to work. Yeah. I'm gonna cover that. Okay. Let me finish this paragraph because it's the last of it, and then I'll cover that. This, in brief, is the process by which AA Tradition 11 was constructed. To us, however, it represents far more than sound public relations policy. It is more than denial of self-seeking. This tradition is a constant practical reminder that personal ambition has no place in AA. In it, each member becomes an active guardian of our fellowship. All right, short version of a functioning alcoholic. I pay my bills. I go to work. I have 2 cars in the garage. I have a bunch of clothes. I'm not hurting for money. That. It's the material things. Well, alcoholics, they don't do that because, and here we are. We're gonna take 2 things that add up to something. I'm a functioning alcoholic who had to hit rock bottom. How about that one? So you take rock bottom and functioning. Wait a minute. Okay. Because it's a keep up with the Joneses. Whoever dies with the most stuff wins. It's a materialistic thing. We think that because we own a Jaguar that we are not alcoholic because there's that thing called rock bottom, and rock bottom is having absolutely nothing left, drinking out of a paper bag on Skid Row, when really there is no difference between that Skid Row bum and the person with the Jaguar. There's no difference. You are still ignoring your children. You are still pissing off everybody around you. You are still driving off your wife. What you haven't hit is the yets. What it comes down to is you can't hold a relationship. You can't seem to be of real use to other people. You're a liar. That we think, people tend to think that because they still have material shit that they are not alcoholic. That is why rock bottom is so dangerous. It keeps people from healing, from walking into the room. So, no, you are not a functioning alcoholic, and you have no idea what rock bottom is if you are still alive. Because that's rock bottom. Death is rock bottom. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I know that was kind of intense at the end. I hope your day goes well. So, thank you all for being here. Man, this is about 46 minutes. Man, when I used to rant, these would go like an hour. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.